Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
The one person that hates a bad police officer most is police officers.
Governor J.B. Pritzker signs off on a sweeping criminal justice reform bill. Illinois police officers react to the changes in store.
This has been a colossal collaborative effort. If you didn't recognize it, it took an entire community to bring this to fruition.
A donated storefront means more people in Winnebago County will get an immune system boost against COVID. Plus, voters prepare to make their voices heard in the primary election. Experts weigh in on the change citizens can make at the local level. Good evening, I'm Mimi Muprhy. Eric is off tonight. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed into law a major criminal justice reform bill, but police say these changes will handcuff officers and prevent them from protecting public safety. Eyewitness News is keeping you connected to the Capitol. Here's what's in it. By 2025, all police in the state would have to wear and use body cameras. They could face criminal penalties if they don't activate the recording device. The law bans chokeholds, requires more training, and restricts officers from using force. It also requires officers to report when their colleagues use force without cause. A longtime officer, now with the Fraternal Order of Police, says the culture of silence is already starting to change.
As police officers, we don't feel like it's been our place to speak out. We feel like we better not say anything. We're here to, we'll be judged, we'll be looked at. We have quit, that has now ended. We will speak out.
The police reform push also ends cash bail 2 years from now. In that time, lawmakers plan to create a risk assessment tool to help judges decide which suspects should be held in custody before trial. The reform bill was met with heavy opposition from Republican lawmakers and law enforcement agencies across the state. The Illinois Law Enforcement Coalition released a statement. Here's part of it, quote, "In signing this bill into law, Governor Pritzker chose to listen to a few strident political voices rather than the 120,000 petition signing citizens who plainly saw the bill for what it is. We sincerely hope that we will not be proven right about this new law, that it won't cause police officers to leave the profession in droves and handcuff those who remain so they can't stop crimes against people and property." Several agencies across the state line have spoken out against the bill. Michelle Rave caught up with one of them who says this actually takes Illinois backwards, but one of the law's supporters argues it's a step in the right direction. Michelle?
That's right. This bill has produced plenty of controversy, but on one side, one thing both sides can agree on is that there should be more discussion about the bill's language.
As this is passing today, we still feel that the process for this was not a good process, and ultimately this is a bill that will not improve public safety, but will hurt public safety.
The Winnebago County Sheriff's Department shared their disappointment as House Bill 3653 was signed into law by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
I still feel the sheriff, the department, law enforcement in general across the state of Illinois is not happy about the process, the way that this bill came about.
State Representative Maurice West, a longtime supporter of the bill, says it's a step in the right direction.
This is a great step towards the right, towards social justice, towards empowerment for everyone. The sigh of relief that a lot of people in our community is going to have, because the fact that Illinois is focused on police accountability, is focused on empowering the community at the same level as our law enforcement officers.
Chief Deputy Rick Saganek says the bill will create major changes for law enforcement agencies, but he hopes their voices can still be heard.
As the professional organizations throughout the state and law enforcement are hoping that now that the bill is passed, that our political representatives are listening to our voices now, that will work with us to amend some of the problem language in this bill.
Representative West says he's open to having those conversations with those who disagree with the bill.
Nothing in this bill goes into effect until July of this year, and so we still have 5 months to follow up with cleanup language, to follow up with the tweaks that we need to tweak. And I'm 100% committed to that, alongside working with Caruana, O'Shea.
Representative West tells me he'll host a town hall meeting to talk about the bill. You can find more information about that on our website, mystateline.com. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Michelle. Tuesday is primary election day in Illinois. Voters will make their voices heard on referendums, city council races, and a few other issues on local ballots. Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters. In Belvedere, the race is on for mayor, city clerk, and second ward alderman. Rockford voters will weigh in on renewing a 1% road sales tax, as well as several city council seats. Board of Elections Executive Director Stacy Bixby says while the November election is still fresh on voters' minds, it's still important to vote in the primary.
While a lot of people don't like to vote in primary elections because they don't want to have to say choose a Republican or a Democratic ballot, it's how we get the people on the ballot for the April election, and our mayor and our aldermanic candidates are the ones that represent us here at home.
For more information on the primary election, if you live in Rockford, head to voterockford.com. Otherwise, check with your local county clerk's office. Polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 7 tomorrow evening. More Winnebago County residents are on track to be vaccinated against COVID-19. The task requires more space for the health department. Dylan Saraki joins us live from the former Kmart on Sandy Hollow Road in Rockford. Dylan, this will soon be a mass vaccination site?
Yeah, that's right, Mimi. Local leaders say with help from the Illinois National Guard, the health department will be able to administer more than 1,300 shots per day when the vaccine becomes more widely available. You will still need to register online and schedule an appointment through the health department in order to be vaccinated. Right now, there are no walk-in appointments. Health leaders say once you are scheduled and come to the site, the entire vaccination process should only take about half an hour. Over 50 members of the State National Guard will be helping out. They'll be making sure people get in and out of the site quickly. Health Department Director Dr. Sandra Martell says this site is one way Winnebago County is preparing to help as many people as possible as production of the vaccine continues to ramp up.
We are very tight with the amount of vaccine we will have here and the number of appointments. And because it's running every day, I think you've all become now vaccine experts. You know that once it's reconstituted and defrosted, how many hours we have to work against it. So we'll be tightly controlling that.
Martell says the health department will eventually be able to vaccinate everybody who wants a shot. But in the short term, patience is still key. Reporting live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Dylan Saraki.
All right, Dylan, thanks for that live report. Area sandwich shops will serve up sales to help a local nonprofit. It's part of Jersey Mike's 11th annual Month of Giving. During March, a portion of sales will go to the Literacy Council. McChesney Park and Rockford locations are taking part. March 31st, 100% of sales will be donated during a day of giving. The Literacy Council provides free reading, writing, and language instruction to local adults. With winter in full swing, local financial experts say families should take some time to think about saving for the unexpected. Today kicks off America Saves Week. It's a nationwide effort urging Americans to check in on their spending habits, set financial goals, and create a savings plan. Tips include saving as a family, preparing for retirement, enrolling in automatic savings plans, and putting money aside for life's hiccups.
This time of year, you can have major home repairs that have happened that you're going to need to have some emergency funds in place for. Again, big ones being vehicle damages or repairs, as well as replacement of items in your home.
Families have engaged in America Saves Week since 2007. More help could be on the way for small business owners across the nation. Coming up, it all has to do with modifying the payroll protection program. Plus, Ice Hogs fans get a chance to show their support from a distance. Coming up at 6, we'll tell you how you can be at every home game with a quick snapshot.
Temperatures made it into the mid and upper 30s, actually close to 40 degrees for us this afternoon. Find out if we can hold on to that warmth this week. That's all coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Eric Wilson, Mimi Muprhy, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Changes are coming to the Paycheck Protection Program. That's the government's emergency plan to help small businesses stay afloat during the pandemic. Our Washington correspondent Trevor Shirley explains how some of the smaller businesses could benefit as he keeps you connected to the nation's capital.
From the get-go, one of the biggest complaints about the Paycheck Protection Program is that too often small companies get edged out for money by bigger corporations. Now the Biden administration says it wants to change that. Starting this Wednesday, businesses with less than 20 employees will have a 2-week exclusive window during which they can apply for PPP loans. During that period, larger companies won't be allowed to apply. Starting in March, the administration will also allow self-employed workers and independent contractors access to more money, which they previously hadn't been able to get because loan amounts were calculated on the number of employees. The program will also be opened up to some people who had previously been prevented from applying. Those include people with non-fraud related felony convictions and green card holders. The new rules also make it harder for large companies or corporations to get money because you'll recall several multi-billion-dollar international companies faced criticism after taking PPP money last year when the program was created. Today, President Biden talked about the upcoming changes.
These small businesses, not the ones with 500 employees, but these small businesses that with a handful of folks, they are 90% of the businesses in America. But when the Paycheck Protection Program was passed, a lot of these mom and pop businesses got muscled out of the way by bigger companies who jumped in front of the line. And I want to be clear, the Paycheck Protection Program is a bipartisan effort.
And right now, there's also another $7 billion worth of money in the pipeline to keep the Paycheck Protection Program going. That, though, is attached to the COVID-19 relief package that Congress is currently negotiating. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Well, we've had a mix of sun and clouds for most of this afternoon. A little bit of sunshine out there after we started off with some fog. Fairly pleasant and comfortable night tonight. A live look with our Mercedale Skytrack camera out at the Poplar Grove Airport. You see some of that cloud cover fading away, but we are going to bring in a little more cloud cover here as we go through this evening, and that's with another system that'll pass just a little bit to our north as we go through the night tonight. But temperatures, this is something to celebrate. Those numbers today in the mid and upper 30s, 39 in Rockford, 35 in Freeport, 36 our temperature in Dixon. Our weather watchers also checking in with the mid and upper 30s for us this evening. Had about an inch to an inch and a half a snowfall come down from yesterday evening, but no snow today. In fact, a lot of that snow melting away now. You might have noticed a bit more slush out there in some of the parking lots and the roads. We can thank that southerly wind, sustained close to 20 miles per hour in many locations, gusting close to 30 here for much of this afternoon. In fact, we are going to keep with that gusty wind from the south as we go through the night tonight. Look at this, 18 straight days where we've had at least a foot of snow or more on the ground. That's the second longest stretch on record compared to the 78-79 winter when there were 64 days of a foot or snow of more on the ground, and that continues to melt away as the warm temperatures will continue. However, during the night, those numbers are expected to drop below freezing. So whatever kind of melts during the day could refreeze a little during the overnight, and that could cause some icy spots very early in the morning until those temperatures begin to warm up. Now, we are going to stay pretty mild here as we go through the night tonight. We've got the cloud cover coming in. This is ahead of another area of low pressure that for the most part is going to stay to the north as we go through the night tonight. So we've got the cloud cover. Notice any precipitation with that is also going to stay mostly north of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. We might get a flurry, maybe a passing sprinkle north of Rockford later tonight, but we should again see some sunshine after we get some fog in here later tonight and during the morning hours tomorrow. Like today, some breaks in that cloud cover for the afternoon, and with temperatures starting off in the lower 30s, that should help springboard us back into the upper 30s and even low 40s for tomorrow afternoon. Another cold front comes in Tuesday night into Wednesday, but for the most part, our atmosphere really lacking a lot of that moisture. 32, that's where our temperature heads during the overnight tonight. That's going to be the warmest we felt all year, or not all year, all month, I should say, in fact, as those overnight low temperatures have been below freezing and in the teens and the single digits. 36 on Wednesday, we're 31 on Thursday. Mimi, those temperatures will stay in the 30s for the rest of the week.
Looks great. Thanks, Candice. Scott's in next with sports. We'll be right back.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk. with Sports Director Scott Leber.
We will have Ice Hogs hockey here tonight at the BMO. The Cleveland Monsters are in town. This will be the first of 4 straight matchups between these two teams over the next 7 days. Now, tonight's game and tomorrow's game, also here at the BMO, are makeup games from the opening weekend of the season, actually, when the Monsters couldn't play then because of a COVID issue on their team. As for the Ice Hogs, well, they badly need a win here tonight. Their 5-game winless streak to start this season is the worst in Ice Hogs franchise history. The Hogs have struggled to generate goals. They've scored 2 or fewer goals in the last 4 games. In the last game last Thursday against Grand Rapids, they had only 13 shots on goal. Coach King says one part of the problem is the inexperience on this team.
I think I'm getting a little tired of the youth, but we're making some young mistakes out there. That's all. But, you know, it's hard. It's trying not to get frustrated. It's hard not to, and I think the players are starting to get a little frustrated. But, you know, it's a process. We just got to stick to it.
Tonight's game will mark the first time the Ice Hogs have faced Tyler Secura. Secura was their captain last year and the team's leader in points. He was not re-signed, though. After 3 seasons in Rockford, it was time for Secura to get a change of scenery. Another former Ice Hog who suits up for the Monsters is defenseman Adam Clendenning. The Blackhawks' next game will be tomorrow night in Columbus against the Blue Jackets. The Blackhawks' power play has cooled off lately, but Jeremy Colleton isn't surprised.
Teams are going to adjust to what you do, just like we do. And, you know, everyone does the pre-scout and you do the meetings and you kind of have an idea what to expect, and they're trying to take away what we do well and we're trying to exploit them. And, you know, they're obviously trying to take some things away that we've had success with.
And while we're on the theme of hockey, today marks the anniversary of maybe the greatest hockey moment in the history of this country. On this day, February 22nd, 1980, the USA Olympic hockey team stunned the Soviet Union in the semifinals of the Lake Placid Olympics. 2 days later, the United States defeated Finland to win the gold. The images still send chills down your spine. That's sports. We'll be right back.
First Warn Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and more. We've got a few more clouds out there this evening, and that'll leave our skies mostly cloudy as we go through the night tonight. Might get a sprinkle or a flurry, especially to our north, as an area of low pressure passes through during the overnight. Some areas of fog will also be possible heading into tonight and into the day tomorrow. Winds, while not as strong as tomorrow afternoon, this afternoon I should say, will still be coming in from the southwest, so that'll give our temperatures again a boost into the upper 30s, and 30s is where we stay for the rest of the week.
30 sound great. Thanks, Candice, and thanks for watching. See you at 6.